And we'll move to the front. There's running lights or interior lights for us here, red and white. They're just push button basic lights. The box there in the back is a heating and air conditioning unit for the guys that would ride in the back. The truck is equipped to hold 10 of us with all our gear on. There's still restraint systems and seat belts. Under the Chief's legs there is the power inverter, so we do have our own power if we need it. Also that's used, we can plug the truck in while it's parked, and it keeps the charge on the truck, so we never run into a dead battery issue. There is storage under the benches for our gear and for the mats. Above you, Paul, is the turret. It's an easy opening hatch. I don't know if I can reach it, but it's mounted on hydraulics like a back lift gate to an SUV is. Okay. So it's very easy to open. It locks open in place, and then you can pull this lever, and it rotates 360 degrees. At your feet is a stand for it if we do have to deploy out of the top.
So this raises? That
raises. It's 3-position, so you can stand on it depending on your height, or if you need to put it all the way up so we can go out onto the roof, maybe to get it onto an elevated surface or something, we can use it for that. I was just going to say, what would be the reason for going out on the roof? Elevated surface. Depending on where we are, we don't always have cover. If you think of a shopping plaza or even the front parking lot here, we could put someone out there and they would have their own built-in cover, whether it be a sniper or an observer or what. So you would use it for that. When that hatch is open, that hatch is the same rating as the truck. It gives the officer the same protection that the rest of the body of the truck does. On the back of these seats, and now we start getting into some of the controls, is the 2 monitors that goes with this monitor here, and that's for the camera system. You can see right now the front camera. I don't know if we just turn these on. Yeah, I got it. Oh, you do? I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're
on. Both cameras are on at the same time, so you can set these monitors up to view whatever camera you want, or any combination. So this front one right now is on the FLIR camera. I think maybe one of those is on a regular camera.
Yeah, that's right.
We can switch it around to have them all on the regular camera or all on the FLIR, or any combination.
The term FLIR camera meaning what?
It's the infrared. It detects the heat.
Oh, okay.
Forward-looking infrared.
Yes, thank you. I don't know all my acronyms, but you can see. Too bad there's no one walking around, but
it's the same type of technology they use on search helicopters that the state police has for search and rescue.
I get the idea, sort of like the first cousin to thermal imaging.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It directs heat signature. Detects heat signature.
So say someone was down in the woods over there. You can see where the sun's hitting. You get there's more heat on that tree than the backside of the tree.
Yeah. Okay.
It's even more pronounced if there's a body giving off much more heat than what the sun is, especially today on a 20-degree day. So I mean, that would help us in searching for whether it be bad guys or missing people. It's a good feature to have. It has pretty good capabilities. I'm going to switch the front one to the regular camera just so I can see what I'm doing. The regular camera, the FLIR option it's a positional zoom. Mm-hmm. The regular camera has zoom capabilities by the knob, and the regular camera is auto-focusing. So as you zoom it in, and as you can tell, you get pretty good capabilities to zoom in. And it's just simply operated off this joystick. Like I said, 360 degrees, 100 or up and down.
I presume one of those keys on the keypad there would be control which camera you're actually controlling.
No, those are like I said, both cameras are on. You control which camera you're controlling because they're both on the same mount and on the same head, right. So go together. So if I'm watching this car on the regular camera, you can watch it on the FLIR from one of the monitors in the back if you want to.
You can see that now.
So no, the joystick just moves the camera, and it does operate the zoom whether you're in regular or the IR function.
Yeah.
The rest of the console is pretty much like a cruiser. This is the police radio here. This is a switch box for the siren in the PA system. This speaker here is the combustible gas detector. So if we get into an environment there's combustible gas under the truck, there's sniffers for that, and if it gets into an area where that is, it'll go off. It has high and high, you better get out of here type settings. Over your head, Paul, is the radiation and the other gamma gases and stuff detector. That turns on by a flick of the switch, and it's the same thing. It's pretty foolproof. If you're in an area, it starts buzzing and it will give a readout.
Well, that's something I hope never goes off.
Yeah, and that tube over your head goes with that. That's the radiation part of the detector. The other sniffers are under the truck, just like the combustible gas. The rest of the console is just switches for the lights, front and rear. Front defrost switches here. Like I said, outside, obviously the regular defroster doesn't cut through the windows.
No, it wouldn't.
So you just turn on the front defrost, and there's little lines, you can't really see it with the naked eye, but which turns on and melts the ice from the inside to the window. There is an intercom. Say the driver's in the truck and the team is outside, you can talk to them through the intercom. The speaker is on the driver's side right here. It also has push to talk, so the driver can talk back out to them.
Sure.
Simple volume control. It does have an idle control if we're going to be at a scene for a long time and we're using the inverter and a bunch of the other electronics. If you flick up the idle control, if the engine calls for it or the truck calls for more power, it'll boost up the idle.
Oh.
Just like a tow truck or a fire truck or any other. A lot of diesels have that. The other two switches are empty, and that's just the wigwags, the flashing headlights. The console itself is the Ford console. Like I said outside.
It looks vaguely familiar.
Or the dashboard, I mean, they build the truck around the Ford truck, so it's it helps with driver training, it helps with familiarization, because if you've driven a Ford truck, you can drive this truck as far as the controls, how to operate it, the gauges. It's all what we've seen when we are in any type of Ford vehicle. Four-wheel drive is the same four-wheel drive. It's the pull lever,
right? Just
like in a normal truck. They take the backup camera that comes in like the tailgate of the truck, and they reuse it for the back, and they install it just like it is on any car you buy now in the rear view mirror. We can turn that off. You know, most cars you have the luxury feature that once you put it in drive, it turns itself off.
Right.
We can leave this on all the time if we want and just operate it manually. These switches here are the spotlights, like I told you. You turn them on, and the joystick control just like the rest of it. There is a level gauge. Like any big truck, this has a rollover potential. So if we're wherever we are, we can monitor anything over 30 degrees. They say can be a rollover hazard. So we can monitor that and protect ourselves from putting ourselves in a situation like that. It's really just a safety feature. That's really it. It's really a simple truck to operate. It is a little bit heavier, obviously, so that does take some familiarization.
Right.
I equate it to, as far as operating it, it is like a truck, but sometimes stopping it, feels like you're pulling something and you lose your trailer brakes, like tractor or whatever. It does feel like that when you stop. So it takes some getting used to and some familiarization, but that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's a fairly easy truck to operate.
Yeah.
Any questions? Anything we missed?
Now, the only thing I can imagine is, you know, that one of the ideas that was forwarded, proffered when the department applied for the grant was that would be used for off-road missing person searches and things like that. How capable is this of like cutting through the underbrush, so to speak, to get to it? I mean, you could probably, I should think, this thing would be able to take down small trees. How big a tree can you actually just roll over if you know you've got to get in someplace to get somebody out, for example?
I don't know what. I mean, I would be comfortable taking it into, like you said, some underbrush. I mean, it would probably take out little brush like that with no problem. I mean, the other thing you think about, we have a lot of old roads and logging roads, and even the Highland Hill Road to get up to the radio tower it's nothing we want to bring a cruiser up. This is four-wheel drive, first of all, which a cruiser isn't. It's obviously elevated because of the tires and stuff, so right there we gain clearance for any jetted out rocks or anything like that, whereas we don't have that capability with any of our other cars. Even our Tahoe is something you'd buy from all years. It's not considered an off-road truck, so it gives us that capability. Do I think we could plow over a birch tree? Probably not. And what's the risk versus reward? I mean, you don't. Why damage the truck?
Yeah, well, that was the other thing I was going to ask you. You know, given the discussion is about an armored vehicle, how armored is the front end? I mean, what sort of an impact can it withstand?
Well, I mean, it can withstand a 50 caliber rifle round, but you know, as far as plowing into oak trees and stuff, I don't know. I mean, clearly it would take more than a stock body part from a passenger vehicle, but I don't know.
just kind of hope you don't have to find out.
Yeah, but it gives us the off-road capabilities, and it is heavier, but we're not down in the Mississippi mud here, so we have more rocks and washed out roads than we do mud where it would sink. And even still, it would take quite a bit of mud to wreck the clearance of the undercarriage of the truck. So.
Well, we know how far you can take it on an angle left or right.
Yep.
I assume this truck would have no trouble, let's say, going up, you know, over Miller State Park up to the top of Pac-Monadnock.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, yeah. And I think locally, Highland Hill, it would have no problem with something like that either. So, and when you talk of missing persons, if it was used for a missing person, it would probably supplement our K9 unit. So it would be more than likely on a perimeter post and maybe doing a roving check of the woods with a camera. Not necessarily plowing down the woods, because that's what we have the dog for. The dog would be working a track or an area search or whatever, and this would just supplement that with the camera.
Okay. Well, it's an amazing vehicle. Certainly to look at the interior, it's Spartan, but I wouldn't have I don't suppose that luxury was a factor in deciding to acquire this vehicle.
No, it's more functionality than luxury. I mean, this is, considering what we've had over the years, we've had a 1980 bread truck essentially that simply just rotted out from under us, and we made that last for years and years and years. And when that finally got beyond repair, we essentially had to use 2 minivans, 3 cruisers, and just to get our team where it needed to be. This, we can all be together, we can plan on the move. We're not makeshifting out of Dodge Caravans and 3 cruisers. And so instead of having to take 4 to 5 vehicles to a call, if it's a tactical call, we can take 1. So it's much more efficient for us that way as well.